Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call roll, please?
Counselor Elliott?
Here.
Counselor Grizzle? Here. Counselor Reeskamp?
Here.
Looks like Counselor Bolin, Fisher, and Scott are absent.
Okay, first up is a consent calendar. We have the agenda and the bid advertisements for the Vine Street Sanitary Sewer Replacement Project and the 2014 Street Preservation Project.
I move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Consent calendar passes. First up, public comments. Council welcomes all respectful comments regarding city's business. Citizens may address the council by approaching the microphone, signing in, stating their name and address for the record. Each citizen is provided up to 5 minutes to provide comments to the council. The council may take an additional 2 minutes to respond. City clerk will accept and distribute written comments at a speaker's request. Is there anybody who would like to speak from the public? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to our regular session. Number 1, award contract for Cascade Drive improvements. Ron Whitlatch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. We're here today mostly for awarding Cascade Drive Road Improvements Project. We opened bids, what day was it? On the 20th, Tuesday the 20th. We got 7 bidders. You can see where they ranged in there. The low responsive bid was Mid-Valley Gravel out of Philomath. We've worked with them before, and they do good work, so we're recommending that we award the project. Just as a side note, as a split for city funds, it's about a 1/3, 2/3 split when you count the water line. Lynn County and the city of Lebanon are splitting all roadway drainage and sidewalk, bicycle, all those improvements will be split 50-50, and then of course we're paying 100% of our water line, and it works out to about a 1/3, 2/3 split for that project. And we're proposing to begin construction pretty much the day after school lets out. So I can answer any questions.
Ron, are we in charge of who we're hiring, or is the county also approving the bid process that we're going through?
So what we did is we put it out through our normal bidding process, which is the same as the counties. And the agreement that we had with the county was they would do all the design, except for the water line, and then we would bid and actually do the project management of the project.
Okay.
They've seen it, they're in concurrence with it, and per the IGA, they're good with what we've got.
Good.
So.
Okay.
Have you worked with Mid-Valley Gravel before, Ron, or
Yeah, they've done several projects for us. They do a good job. So.
satisfied?
Yep, they'll do just fine.
Okay.
Interesting how the gap has narrowed on the bids.
I
It
noticed
has-
that too.
Garrow, yeah, it was extremely tight. You can look at ours. What we did is we just took a bunch of averages for a project like this, and then some of the stuff is not normal, so we threw hours at it and kind of came up with our own bid prices. And I was surprised that we were as high as we were, but it's a good price. It should be fine.
Yeah, there's normally quite a larger discrepancy
Yeah.
between people that just don't care about the work right now, is what I always assume.
I think people are really busy right now around here, is what I'm understanding.
What's
But
the,
this was a good one.
Ron, how long is it going to take to do the project?
We've got an end date of a train going by. We plan to be done before school starts. Basically, in the contract itself, I think I can't remember the exact date, but I want to say it's before Labor Day. So we want to be done, and there shouldn't be any problem getting it done. So.
That long a time, huh?
Well, by the time you put in 2,500 feet of 16-inch water line, do all the excavation, all the storm drainage and whatnot, we're going to be pushing it to get it done. We'll be pushing it.
So that project will not interfere with Highway 20 at all?
No. It starts there, where you come around the curve from Walmart, like if you're leaving Walmart,
Right.
where they've got the existing curb and gutter and sidewalk. It starts kind of right there by that store, and then it goes out to, for all intents and purposes, past the last driveway of the school. The improvements won't go quite that far, and then Cascade Drive will be closed. Pending approval today, we've got a notice to all residents, including everybody in the wagon wheel area, the mobile home park. Everybody's going to get a hand-delivered notice of construction, letting them know that Cascade Drive will be closed during construction through traffic. Obviously, they'll be able to get in and out, but we want to let them know that it's going to be closed. And then we'll do a press release as we get closer to construction, know an actual date. So.
How about the egress at the pit stop, that store there?
Shouldn't impact them too much. I mean, when we're doing the water line work, it may be a little tough, but they still got access off of Highway 20. So they can still in and out right there. The biggest thing will be probably the school and the teachers back and forth for the last week, and then the mobile home park there will be a little bit tight, but we'll find a way to do it.
It'll be frustrating for them, but all of them out there know that's a need. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Surely
Yeah.
their people will be patient with, I hope,
Oh, they
the
won't.
process.
That'll be a nice improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good when we're done. It'll definitely improve the safety for kids going to and from school.
Any other questions?
I would move that we award the contract to Mid-Valley Gravel.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to award the contract for the Cascade Drive improvements. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councilors.
Thank you, Ron. Number 2, eliminating the city's voters pamphlet project from the 2014-15 budget and use funds for legislative clerical support. Linda.
Okay, thank you. The county will not be publishing a voters pamphlet this year, and so I did put $4,000 in the budget, the proposed budget, to cover those costs of publishing, having someone else print them out and mail them out. So it cost about $4,000 the last time that we did a voters pamphlet in 2012. So probably it might go up a little bit, but I could cover that cost in other areas. So I only put $4,000 in. For those of you who weren't at the budget meeting, Ralph Gaston, Budget Committee member Ralph Gaston, questioned whether we should be spending that kind of money on such a small campaign. So we do have other things that I've asked you to consider, and that's the staff time involved, as well as the publishing and distribution costs. The candidates do pay a $35 fee, which has been approved by council, but that really doesn't cover the costs at all. And so we do have other resources that we can consider. Of course, we've got the local newspaper that can publish all the photos and the statements and all that, but we can also do that on our website and our Facebook as well. So I'm before you asking if you'd like to use that those funding that I've set aside for this project to maybe support council and Gary and myself. So
I took a poll on my Facebook page, and Lebanon Express also put it on theirs, and a bunch of people shared. So there were a lot of comments, maybe about 40 total, and the majority of people agreed with saving the money. There were a few people that said no, it should be printed, and there were quite a few people that said it should be electronic, but we should have some copies available at like the library, maybe City Hall, and some of the places where citizens can come in and get a printed copy if they preferred that, along with paper and other places that it could be put. And I thought that wasn't a bad idea. For $100, we could print out, a couple hundred copies and have it at all of our city locations so people could at least pick up a printed copy if they just don't compute.
Right, and it doesn't have to be, I read through those, so I appreciated you, both you and the Express. I read through what people were, saying. Some were concerned, not everybody has internet access, and I understand that. So purely electronic, I'm on the verge of just saying, well, we need to do that, because we do provide internet access as a city service as well at the library. But the ones you print out do not have to be big, elaborate, pamphlet. You could just, it's going to be very limited information, right? There's not going to be a lot. It could be, 4, 6 double-sided stapled and just available.
What we did last year, and it would be the same on the website.
Yeah.
So,
as many people as are going to request that, I would be very surprised if you went through 100.
Yeah, I would even think less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it was well publicized where they could get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the paper does a good job, too. They usually do a rundown on each candidate individually,
You mean
too.
the Democrat Herald, right?
No, I was actually speaking of the Express. Alex isn't.
I would never have said that if Alex would have been here.
well, in the past, they've always had a nice picture
Right.
of the candidate as well as their statement, so it was real similar to the voters pamphlet.
Right, yeah.
Because they actually get the information from us.
Yeah,
So.
I'm good.
What do you think, Bob?
Oh, I could go either way on it, but I hate to spend that much money for it.
Any thoughts, Wayne?
No, I'm not in favor of spending the money. I think we have the avenue of getting the information out, discussed, and it's not going to be largely solicited anyway, I don't think. So the newspaper, the internet, having them at City Hall, the library is a good plan.
There's public meetings also, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Chamber's going to do a forum.
Sure.
We were at a meeting with the Chamber this morning, and they're going to do a forum, too, so that's another avenue people can come for free.
And maybe we could, depending on when the forum is, maybe we could have some published for
Oh,
the
that's,
forum.
yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like we have a consensus that not to go ahead with the printing and to use all our alternative means that we can electronically and maybe some printed copies, too.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Also, it's not on the agenda,
That's
but
right.
Brent is working hard on doing email upgrades for the city. He had originally planned on starting that today, but I got an email that's being postponed. I'm not sure. I'm not sure for how long. Just a few days, I think. But anyway, so everyone has Brent's email, or memo, I should say. So it explains what's going on and what you may want to consider when you're looking at your email so that this upgrade is done a little bit more smoothly. And if there's any questions, because some of this may be foreign to some of you, if there's any questions, please email Brent and he can walk you through it.
Do you know how long he's going to have the regular OWA that we use right now up?
I thought it was just going to be for another couple of weeks, but
Okay.
I'll have to confirm that with
I
him.
was just curious, so that as we're transitioning.
I think he's going to be giving Gary a report on that tomorrow, is what I saw. Okay. That's all I have.
Got to move with the times. We're using, 2003 version. It's getting a little bit old.
Kind of a clunky email. The current email is pretty outdated and clunky.
Yeah, it is.
It's cumbersome.
It is. My inbox has just exploded. And I haven't filed any.
Popular guy.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Items from council?
I just want to say the coronation is tonight at the high school for the Strawberry Fair Queen. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock at the high school. See you there. Anything else?
Nothing here.
Okay. Did you have something? Wayne?
No.
Okay. Wanted to bring this to council's attention. that I sent, and there's a copy on your desk. Do you have a copy of this, Matt? It's a letter that I wrote
I have a spare one here.
to Councilor Barry Scott.
Oh. Would you like 3 copies?
I've been in communications, or attempted communications, for probably 6 months with Barry, and discussing his attendance at council and his not being in town during most of the week and working quite far away. And it's just, I've never been able to have a good, productive conversation. We seem to keep missing each other. I've written some emails back and forth, and we've tried to schedule time, and it just hasn't worked. So I wrote him this letter last week on Tuesday, and I wanted you to be able to read the letter, see what I wrote, and I asked for his resignation. And it was with a lot of thought. I've had several of the councilors approach me and mention that it's becoming an issue, that constituents are coming up to you guys and talking to you about it. They've come to me, people have come to me and talked to me about it. And as much as I hate to do anything publicly like this, but at this point we're going to have to do something because it's become a problem. We're having quorum issues. It's not fair, I don't think, to the citizens being represented properly. And so what I want to do is bring this letter to you. I asked for his resignation. I've received no response a week later. And so I figured I would bring it to council and ask if there's a consensus of the council if we would like to move forward with having Trey put together some information next meeting of what we can possibly do as a council to take action.
I would like to see him have a little more time to do this himself. I mean, you know, Barry's a good guy, and I can't imagine him reading. This is a very good letter. I thought it was very good. And I have had a lot of people concerned about him not being here and not being accessible to his constituents. But I think we can plan on him not doing anything and move forward as if he wouldn't, but I would like to see him have another week or two to do something himself. I think it would be...
Well, our next council meeting's in 2 weeks, so...
yeah.
I think
so if he hasn't responded by then, absolutely.
I hope he does. I really would like to take care of this and just move on and
Right.
we find a replacement. But at this point, it's frustrating for everybody. As I've outlined in the letter, he's missed 11 city council meetings and work sessions, and he was absent for both of the budget committee meetings. So that's a lot, and those are important things that you need to be here to represent your constituents on. So I hope that he'll contact me and that we can straighten this out. And if not, I'll ask Trey to bring us some information next week on what our options are.
I think we need to move on this, but I don't know what our legal setup is.
And that's why I wanted Trey to...
I don't know how we can handle it.
Well, I've put some thoughts together and put them on paper, and I'll make sure and get them out to everybody prior to the meeting.
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, that's all I have. Would you like...
Yeah, I got
Say, sure, go ahead.
At the last council meeting, I reported to all of you that we had re-engaged with the city of Albany for discussions concerning the canal. One bit of information I wanted to also convey to you today was that, and you may be aware of this from news reports back in February before I was on board, but the city of Lebanon, over the course of several years, had gone in arrears to Albany for payments on the canal. One of the first tasks that I and the team took on was to review all of those past invoices and try to determine what the status of those were, if they were legitimate invoices. We did that exercise and determined that there was no reason not to go ahead and pay those. We had the money in the budget, and going into discussions with the City of Albany, I didn't want to be in the position of the debtor. So we went ahead and we paid those invoices. I wanted to make sure you and by virtue of this public meeting, the community is aware that we made good on our bills, and we're current now. So anything that Albany has invoiced us for related to the canal has now been paid.
Good.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, at this point, another opportunity for citizens to speak on any items of city business. Sure.
Just a comment, I'm a friend of Barry Scott's.
Can you come up to the microphone, please?
My name's Carlton Dawson, I live in South End town. I'm a friend of Barry Scott's, and I think your position is the correct position. I think that he has not been able to do what needs to be done, and I think some action should be taken. I'm not saying that he is a friend of mine, I have nothing against the individual at all, but his absence has cost a lot more.
Do you live in his district?
As a matter of fact, I don't.
Okay.
In the first district, but
I was just curious.
he and I have other relationships.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And we all, I think Barry brings a lot to this council,
does.
and it breaks my heart to even be having this discussion.
Yeah,
So,
and I did not want to create dissension amongst the council, but
No, but I
but it's
think
something that we have to fix going forward.
You approached that really well in the letter, I thought, that there would be nothing better than for him to be here and stay on this council. That would be so ideal. But it has to be
Okay.
something.
And any other comments from the public? Next, items from the press. Matt, do you have anything?
Yeah, the elimination of the voters pamphlet not require a vote.
I'm sorry, what was?
Did the eliminating the voters pamphlet not require a vote?
And you might correct me on the budget part of this, but I think that it's a line item, so that's actually a staff level, but their staff was just looking for guidance from the council.
Correction, yeah.
That's correct.
And then whose terms are expiring for council?
Wayne, you know,
Wayne, Floyd, and Bob.
and me.
And maybe-
Well, yes, and the mayor.
That's it.
Okay.
What's Linda, the filing deadlines or what now?
July 14th through July 30.
Okay.
Have packets ready if you'd like one.
I don't think I'm going to need one.
With that, we'll adjourn the meeting.